Hey guys, I just got up a couple minutes ago. I got a text this morning from my great aunt, who is my grandfather's sister, and it kind of woke me up a little bit, but that's alright. I usually sleep in too long anyway, so. Alright, when I was on the phone with her, she asked me if I had called my dad yesterday because it was his birthday, and I don't speak to him, and I told her, I didn't call him because I don't talk to him anymore, and she kind of gave me a spiel, and she was like, there's things that I wish I could have done when my parents were still alive, and, he's your father, and he's still the same person, which I'm going to elaborate on that. This might be a long video because I really have some things to get off my chest, because people sort of are on my back a little bit about not talking to him. But, yeah, so anyway, she called me, and that's what made me want to make a video to elaborate on this whole situation. Alright, my parents divorced when I was really little. I believe I was 3 years old when they got divorced. And, I felt like I always wanted to be with my mom all the time. Mostly because, when I guess they went to court, the judge said that we were to be with my mom a minimum of 3 days a week, and my dad to be with the rest of the 4 days. And he wasn't lenient towards the amount of days that we were with our mom, so it was like, I know that I always wanted to be with my mom all the time. I don't know about my brothers, but when we were with my dad, I would sort of cling to him because of the way that I missed my mom, and I've never really said that to anybody before, but I always sort of wished it was my mom, and I would cling to him a lot because I wanted my mom to be there, but she, they split up, so they obviously couldn't really be together. But when you're little, you think, I always thought that, parents were supposed to be together, and because of the way that my dad is really a spiteful guy, the way that he was about the whole divorce and stuff, it was like, growing up, I thought that your parents had to hate each other after they got divorced, but my mom doesn't really hate my dad. My dad hates her. Like I said, he's a really spiteful guy. But, and I had, next door to me, my friends, they were twins, their parents were still friends, and they were divorced, and I was like, that's so weird, your parents are still friends. I thought your parents were supposed to hate each other when they split up. But, yeah, so my dad probably to this day will not even look my mother in the eye because he's kind of a coward in that way. And like I said, I've always clinged to him because I wanted my mom to be there. I've always felt an awkwardness around my dad. Sort of an uncomfortable feeling. It's really hard to explain, and not a lot of people are going to understand, but I felt that for quite a long time. And the first time that I felt like I didn't want to be around him was when he was married to my stepmother. When I think they got married when I was in first grade, so it was probably about 6 or 7 years old. And he would take her side over us. And that really kind of hurt my feelings and she would do the same thing to her kids. She had 2 kids. And, my stepsister, we did not get along. I didn't like her. I don't think she liked me. She used to torture me. She would hit me and pull my hair. But my stepbrother was pretty cool. I mean, everyone has their moments, but yeah, he was a pretty cool dude. And, alright, this is gonna stray a little bit, but my stepsister, for a while, kept sending me friend requests on Facebook trying to be my friend, and it's like, why, after all the crap you did to me, I know you're not supposed to live in the past, but after all the stuff you did to me, you think I want to be your friend? I'm not gonna add you as a friend on Facebook after all that stuff you did. So, But anyway, he would take her side, and I think it was like the day before their wedding, my oldest brother went up to my dad and was like, please don't do it, you're making a mistake, don't do it. And obviously he got married anyway, he didn't listen. But the thing is, when a kid has a feeling like that, kids don't know anything other than the truth. Usually, except, kid, that's not what I mean, like, kids don't lie and stuff, but kids are more true and genuine because that's just, they're not afraid to say what they're feeling a lot of the time, so. But they got married, and that was awful. So, eventually, they ended up getting a divorce, which was kind of ironic because they had sat us down for like this family meeting and was like, well, we know that, each child has feelings about the opposite parent, and, we love each other and we're going to be together forever, so you guys are going to have to deal with it, basically. And then, not so long after that, they ended up getting divorced. She ended up beating my dad, scratching him, and she broke his glasses, and his shirt was all ripped up, and he was like bleeding because he had scratches on him. And then apparently when the cops came, she had hand marks on her, but they said that they were self-inflicted, so it looks like she hit herself to make it look like he hit her or whatever. So we went to live with my Nana and Grandpa, and meanwhile we're still going back and forth between my parents' houses. But what I wanted to do was, I asked my dad if we could do this situation where we could be with one parent for a week and then another parent the next week, and that's what my neighbors did. And my younger cousins do that now. They spend a week at their mom's and a week at their dad's, but he would not have that. Apparently, he would no longer be able to claim us on his taxes if we were with our mom for an equal amount of time, because he's always benefited from us. He's always claimed us on his taxes. And so yeah. And the whole point of this video is not to say that my dad never did anything for me, because there's a lot of things that he did for us growing up, but there's a lot of things that he also didn't do, and a lot of things that he did that hurt my feelings. And like I said before, he's a really spiteful person, and he sort of victimizes himself in situations. My mom told me around the time when they were first getting, they were splitting up, it was around Christmas time, and I guess he was at the Christmas tree and taking ornaments off the tree and slamming them to the floor right in front of us because he was so mad. Well, he was saying something, I guess, well, I guess this doesn't matter anymore, and I guess he was smashing ornaments in front of us and stuff. I don't remember that because I was little, but it just shows the spitefulness. And about a year and a half ago, he was engaged to be married, and I actually still talk to her. Not a lot, not as often as I wish I really did. I wish I talked to her more than I do. But, yeah, she kind of called it off. The whole thing was really rushed, it was. We were foreclosing on our house, and she wasn't able to afford the rent anymore where she was staying, and so we all kind of just moved together, and she has a small daughter who was adorable, and so we all moved in together, and that was interesting. It really was. It was definitely two worlds. But I still adore them. They're awesome. My dad is a super neat freak, and she's not, so that was a lot of the thing that there was a little bit of trouble with. But anyway, he had proposed to her on Valentine's Day, and I don't think she was really ready, but she said yes, but I don't think she was really ready for it. And then later on, she kind of called it off and said, she needed time to find herself and all kinds of things, which is not really that big of a problem, but it's better than entering into something that you're not 100% ready for. So, and he got mad, and he was kind of to the point where she was kind of like sort of procrastinating getting her stuff, which I didn't really have a problem with because she didn't have really a lot of space to put it, because she lived with her parents before, and then she moved out into her own place with her daughter, and then couldn't afford it, so then we all moved together into a rental. But she didn't really have a place to put all of her stuff, so I didn't see it as really a big deal, but he did. I guess one of the times when she came over to get her things, she was in the bathroom getting her stuff, and she saw in the garbage that he crumpled up a Christmas card that he gave to, or no, it was a birthday card that he gave to her, and that really hurt her feelings, which it would hurt my feelings too, because to a lot of people, including myself, a greeting card or, birthday cards, Christmas cards are a lot more than just a piece of cardstock folded in half with words on it. They do mean something. They're special. They have a sentimental value about them. And he just crumpled it up like it didn't matter at all. And she sort of wanted their relationship to work. She didn't want completely to be over. She wanted things to work out. But he didn't want to have that. So I guess he started spending a lot of time on the computer, and I guess he was talking to people online and stuff, and then he would, go out on these trips, and with these people he would go like kayaking on a river with a whole bunch of people, and he didn't tell me a lot about it. So, and then he started he started driving over to Ocala often to see a friend. And I was like, really, you're making a huge deal out of it. And by this time, I've had a lot of suspicions that my dad is gay. His mannerisms, just some of the things that he does and says, a lot of things. When my mom was actually getting married to my dad, my uncle, everyone basically thought he was gay at one point. And I think a lot of the time he spent his life trying to prove to other people that he wasn't gay. But I had a lot of suspicion, and one of the reasons why I did was because it was such a big secret, this friend that he had. It was such a big secret. Like, if it was a woman, it probably wouldn't be that big of a secret, but it's like, it has to be this big secret. And then he wanted to watch Jersey Shore for some reason, so he wanted to see what it was about. So we turned it on, and he made a comment, and he said, I'm sorry my voice is so awful, I just woke up. Anyway, he said, none of these guys are even attractive. And I was like, alright. Okay. And that's one of the things that majorly hit me, was that he made that comment. And after a while, I was sort of getting annoyed because I'm going to stray away from this part, but he has always been someone who likes to spend money that they don't really have, and makes promises that you can't really keep. And he's the kind of person who he has an underwear fetish, which is kind of weird. Like, he likes buying underwear all the time, whatever. But he's always got to buy new stuff, which isn't bad on occasion, but. And anyway, for a long time, I was promised to get braces, and I know that it's both are financially responsible between my parents, but when he's the one that is claiming us, and when he's the one that has us on his insurance, it's kind of hard for my mom to make the move on those types of situations. But for a long time, he promised me to get my teeth fixed, and that's the major thing that I struggle with every single day is people, I feel like they judge me because of the way my teeth are, and it really sucks. It's awful. And there's not a day that goes by that I wish that I had that, you know. One of the major things that I wanted in my life was to be able to have my senior pictures and be able to smile and show everyone who I really am, and I couldn't. And it hurts me though, you know, it really does. And years back, before the foreclosure thing happened, my dad would spend like $70 a month on a tanning membership to a tanning salon, and that's also one of the things that kind of threw me off, even though, you know, Jersey Shore, GTL, and everything, but still. He would go tanning, and I said, Dad, how come you can go tanning but I can't get my teeth fixed? And he goes, well, I do everything for you guys. I never do anything for me, so this is the one thing that I do for me. And that killed me though, because if I had a child who has such low self-esteem, why wouldn't you help them out? I would. If I had a child who had any type of problem like that, I would get that fixed for them immediately before even doing that anything else like that. Like, I see these women coming in to the store where I work, and you know, sometimes they got like food stamps and WIC and stuff, and it's like, you need assistance on buying these things, but you can go out and get your nails done. You can get these tattoos that you have and stuff, so it's just not realistic. And sometimes I'm like, well, you can't always judge people by what they look like, or you don't know their situation without talking to them. Like, sometimes I'll do my nails acrylic because I do them myself. When you buy all of the supplies and do them yourself, it is so much cheaper. And sometimes I do my mom's too, so it's a little bit different. You don't know everyone's situation, but anyway, it's like, why wouldn't you do that for your kid? So I sort of resented my brother a little bit when he had braces and stuff. And that's just the one thing in my entire life that if I could have, it would change me so much. I would be able to show who I am, and I wouldn't be so antisocial and shy, and I wouldn't be so uncomfortable around people if that was the one thing that I could have, and I didn't get it. And that's, seriously, you don't even know how much it kills me. It really does. It eats me up. And I really can't do much about it at this point, you know. I wish that I could. And it just sucks so bad, because that's honestly the one thing in my entire life that I want. If I get that, nothing else will matter. You know, that's just the one thing. I can live without anything else in my life. That's the one thing that I want so badly. But it never happened. And yeah, my dad was like, oh, I should be getting, a while ago, oh, I should be getting a bonus check from work soon. And I was, you know, getting excited, obviously, because he's pulled the bonus check thing on me before. And he ended up getting laid off. So that was definitely interesting. And so he was trying to figure out what to do, I guess, and then he had a job lined up for him in Orlando where my aunt lives, and yeah, so he decided he was going to move to Orlando, and I move in full-time with my mom and my grandma because I'm going to go to my mom's. It's at my grandma's house. So that's where I am now. This is my grandma's house, and I've wanted to live here for a long time, so that's cool, but I just didn't like the terms in which it happened. One day I had come home from school to my dad's, and it was basically like, alright, we're bringing your stuff over to your mom's today. And I was like, I wasn't expecting that at all. I had to call my virtual school teacher for an online assessment, on the phone assessment, and I was really stressing out, and it was hard. And he called his friend over. Bless her heart, I love her to death. I saw her the other day. She came into the store. But yeah, she came over and helped us, and when we were carrying my stuff up to the door, there's on our side, on the pathway that comes up to the door, there's like a line, and then it's sort of like it's not really a porch, but it's like the cement area. He would not go past that one line, not even a fraction past the line with any of my stuff, but she helped me inside with the things. And I was really upset that day, and I couldn't say anything to him because he would not feel for me or anything, you know. That's just not who he is, though. But it's not like I could say that I was mad, because everything's my fault. And you know, I got inside and, you know, I broke down. I said to my grandma was there, and I had called my brother because he was at the gym and he was gonna come over and help with the stuff. But I went over to my grandma and she goes, "Are you alright?" I'm like, I'm just tired of this shit. I really am. And I apologize for any language that may be in this video, but I was like, I'm so tired of this shit. I can't deal with this anymore. And she's like, I know, it'll be over soon. And so my dad moved to Orlando, and then I moved to my mom's. And I'm not mad that he moved to Orlando by any means. This is gonna sound bad, but I am glad that he moved away, because for a long time I've wanted to live with my mom. But the thing that upsets me is that he used being gay as an excuse to give up his responsibility as a parent to me. He said to me, there's nothing for me in this county, which it's like, you're the only gay person in this county, which is completely not true. So he used being gay as an excuse to leave. And that's the part that killed me, though. It wasn't the fact that he left, it was the way that it happened. And my brother had a going away party he was going into the Air Force, and his best friend's parents were there, and technically they're his grandparents, but he passed away a couple years ago. He committed suicide, and it was a really bad time for everybody, mostly my brother. But they came to the party, and they're like, you know, how's your dad? I was like, I don't know, I haven't talked to him in a while. And this was before I stopped talking to him. But and they said, you know, they're like, I love your dad, but what he did was wrong. And that was the first time where it really hit me, where like I felt like people were going to be against me for not speaking to him, or, you know, that type of thing, and they weren't. And you know, even the other day when the lady who helped me move my stuff, when she came in and she says, you know, have you talked to him? I was like, I don't anymore. And she goes, you know, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. That's perfectly fine. So I feel like people aren't going to hate me for not speaking to him. And yeah, there's just a lot of other things that hurt my feelings that he did, and I'm trying to think how to put this into words. He's got the stubborn Italian part of him because my grandfather's 100% Italian, and so my dad's like 50%. And when you try to help, sometimes when you try to help them or suggest something to them, they take offense to it. So my dad was doing this entire weight loss thing, which is completely cool. You know, if you feel more comfortable with yourself, that's fine. But when you weigh yourself multiple times during the day and you see the difference in your weight fluctuation, which is completely natural throughout the day, that's really unhealthy. And my mom does some personal training stuff, and you know, even she says sometimes it's not about the number on the scale, it's about the way you feel. And it's really unhealthy to weigh yourself multiple times a day. And he was doing that, and I said, you know, that's really bad for you. You shouldn't do that, you know. And I said, you know, you're gonna get yourself all worked up for nothing. You know, that's not really good for you. And he told me to mind my own fucking business. And excuse me for saying that, but I'm just quoting. And that was one of the moments where I was furious. I was sad. I was mad too. What gives you the right to speak to me that way? I don't care what happens. You don't speak to me that way. So I went in the bathroom and cried. I didn't say anything. And I told my mom about it, and she was so livid. She wanted to call him up and give him a piece of her mind. She was so mad. She goes, if he ever speaks to you that way again, you let me know. I was like, oh shit. Uh-oh. But yeah, and it was just like, why do you think you have the right to speak to me that way? No. So that was one of the breaking points as well for me. And he said that to me. And yeah, and I didn't want to tell him about my graduation because I kind of didn't want him to go. And this is the point where I didn't want to speak to him, but I wasn't being vocal about it yet. And I was just gonna sort of play it off and not say anything and then just let the time pass. And I know that's really shitty, but I didn't really want him to go. And he had the nerve to ask me if I had an extra ticket for his boyfriend so I could meet him. You're going to introduce me to your new boyfriend at my graduation? No. That's not happening. Why would you do that? The one thing that could have been about me, he had to make about him. My graduation was going to turn into an introduction to his boyfriend. How awful is that? It sucked. That was awful, but his boyfriend didn't come, and I have nothing against the guy. I've never met him, and I kind of didn't want to, nothing personally against him, but because I knew that it wasn't going to last between the two of them. But, alright. I think the breaking point for me for not speaking to him was, I'll probably have to finish this video up and then add another one at a part 2 video, because my timer is running out. I guess I can't make a video over 30 minutes long, so I will quickly upload this and then finish another one for part 2. See you in a few minutes.